So before we get into the nitty-gritty of the details of WordPress, let's ask the question, what is WordPress and why is it so popular, and what makes it so different than all of the web development environments out there on the planet today? So let's answer a few questions. What is WordPress? Well, they call WordPress a CMS, or a content management system. And you may have heard of things like Joomla or Drupal. WordPress fits into that description. It's a content management system, but I made up my own phrase just this morning, and what CMS really means to you is change made easy. And that's every web developer's nightmare. It's every business owner's nightmare in their website. If you go back to the origins of the websites that were created in the mid-90s, and people even that have had websites just for maybe a few years, once you get up to 12, 50, 100, 1,000 pages, given the traditional methodology of editing an entire site, change is every business owner and web developer's dream. And if you think about it, here's my Build a Geek members page. Of course, this was done in WordPress, but think about it. Like, I've got this page here. I have menu items up here right behind the fish, giving you a notification that, I teach classes one-on-one anywhere USA. You speak English, and I can share all kinds of concepts with you. But anyway, but up here, I've got these menu items up here with drop-down menus. And what if what if this were all text over here on the right? Well, to change one page, I could delete this image, throw in text over here. I've got a header up here, or maybe under the Photoshop for Web drop-down menu, maybe I've got many different pages, but maybe I just want to add one link. Well, that's not such a big deal, but the problem is when you get lots of pages, I want to add one link on this drop-down menu and apply it to all of these pages. That's where the nightmare comes in, because traditionally you would have to go page to page to page to page to page to get that done. With a content management system, you heard it first here from Build a Geek, CMS means change made easy. With WordPress, I can go into a little place, add that menu item. In WordPress, I can go into a little place and change this little sidebar over here and affect all of my changes throughout the entire website. Change made easy. Now, this is because in the land of WordPress, everything is data driven. Everything in WordPress is data. And to get this done, we use two very magical languages. PHP is the language, and MySQL is the storage facility that makes all of this happen. And the way it happens is, now this is a non-coder explanation. over on our sister site, and for our members, you can go right into what is PHP, get a full description of what is PHP, how does it work. But for non-coders, here's the down and dirty. PHP is kind of like voodoo. PHP is alive. PHP is thinking while people are on your website. And PHP is a non-traditional language. HTML by itself just kind of sits there, doesn't do anything, can't think. The language can't do that. CSS doesn't think hardly at all. Okay, PHP is active. It's thinking. Now, MySQL is like the greedy banker. It takes information. It takes everything that goes on in the website. It stores everything. Images, words, dates, times, videos, payments, everything. So you have the greedy banker with the active voodoo language, just with all this storage stuff going on, which means that if you want to find out, if you have forms and people fill out forms, which used to be a nightmare on your static sites, you fill out a form, you collect data, and then 6 months later you want to send messages to people that are this age, that live in this city, that just got married last week, that only have blue hair, and then you can click a button and the PHP voodoo with the greedy banker stored information, puts it all together with a couple of clicks of the buttons, and you're good to go. That's what CMS change made easy does for you. Now, what do you have to do? What do you have to know about PHP? What do you have to know about MySQL? Well, there's more beauty to the story. You don't need to know diddly squat. You can use this wonderful system and not know anything. Isn't ignorance is kind of blissful at this moment. Now, I'll tell you, I strongly suggest that you really need to know some HTML, and CSS will come in quite handy, just some of it. And watch our whole CSS video series over at buildageek.com/members, of course. But you want to know, and you don't have to know a whole lot. It's like when you go to France, you want to know how to say parlez-vous français. That'll take you a long way. So a little bit of the language will help you. Now, I think an important factor in WordPress is it's like, well, who makes WordPress? It's free, and what it is, it's a bunch of computer geeks all around the world that work on their PHP just for fun, and they make up all of these things that WordPress can do just for fun. And I have clients that I work for and do their sites for, and they always have these strange interests. Like this one guy, he says, like I've got 200 videos on YouTube, and on my main WordPress site, I'd like to randomly show one of these 200 videos from my YouTube site on the front page of da-da. And I'm thinking, oh my God. But, somebody had developed a little language to do that, and I just had to do a little this and that and put it into my little WordPress situation, and my client was totally happy. With millions of people working to make this thing better and better and better and more diversified, I want to say, every minute, WordPress is like some kind of wild voodoo ghost that just gets better and better and better as this video goes on. All made by geeks, and we all know that geeks are wonderful. And you have Adobe working with Dreamweaver. They can only afford to hire so many developers, but Dreamweaver is a wonderful code editor. I use it all the time for CSS, my HTML, and then you will be in situations in WordPress where it's a lot easier to edit a lot of different code, PHP, CSS, and your HTML over in Dreamweaver and then paste it back. into WordPress. So anyway, I've made this whole thing sound kind of easy, but what is WordPress? WordPress is any kind of website that you want it to be. It's CMS, content management system. I call it creation made easy, change made simply, and I mean, for me, I make money off my website. I'll make money today on my website. That's why I'm making these videos. I need some cash. Hear what I'm saying? And so we can call it CMS, cash made simply. You hear what I'm saying? You know, hey, I like what I do, but I have to support myself. And any website, looking at our videos on how to do the WordPress sites, how to do the Dreamweaver sites, using search engine optimization in this international environment that we're in right now, yeah, it's a good thing. And WordPress is a great tool to help with that. Now, I've made this whole thing sound easy, but it's really not as easy as I've made it sound. So watch some more videos. I'm your guide. And I've been to London, New York, Izmir, Turkey. I've been places in Germany. And I find that I have a much better time if I have a guide. A guide saves me a lot of time and a much more enjoyable situation. And in some cities, I've been getting ready to leave the next day and I meet some wonderful person. They show me all this stuff I just didn't know. And if I had met them when I got to the place like 6 months ago, I would have had a much better trip or stay. So WordPress is the same way. If you watch these videos, I will share with you how to save a lot of time and stay away from things that you will regret. Ignorance is not always bliss.